That would be enough. So for any role creation, whenever we have a requirement of creating a role, we will be provided with a user manual if it is a fresh configuration and there is a requirement to create a new role. Whereas normally we will be just adding the privileges by getting them from the functional manager. So let's say I have a requirement to configure an AI agent role. So for that, since this is a new topic in the industry, we will have a requirement to configure it. So I'll just get a document like this from the Oracle and I will configure the role as per the information available in this document. So this document, who will provide this document? So this document, it will be provided by either functional manager or from Oracle. So whenever we have a new requirement of a role configuration, we will raise an Oracle support request. Once Oracle support request is raised, Oracle will provide us with a source document like this on how to configure a role and how to get started with the access related criteria. So here, if we just go through the document, every step will be defined. See here, access requirements for AI Agent Studio. This access requirements is nothing but the role creation and privilege assignments and data security policies assignment. So now for this particular requirement, let's say this is a real-time example I'm giving, which I have recently worked over. So in this particular example, let's say we are starting with setting up the access requirement for AI Agent Studio. So now for this, they have first mentioned us to enable this security profile. So anyone were asking any question? Okay. So we need to follow step-by-step activities which they have provided over here, and we need to configure. We need to go through this document. In the real-time business scenarios, in real-time um, incident work or change request work, whatever we are working over, it is mandatory to go through the documentation which is being provided to us. Without going through this, if we work on any requirement, some things will there is a highest possibility for things to get escalated. So are anyone here in this group are working in real time in any company? How many of you are working? None? Guys, are you sleeping or what?
No, no, no. I'm working in ABS.
Okay. So you receive any documentation for any of the requirement, Bala?
Yeah, in conversion, I I received.
So in the same
So,
way here also in Fusion, we will be receiving the documentations like this. So in this kind of documentation, we will have every step defined in this and we need to follow it.
uh,
So here they have provided us with a profile option, correct? We need to go to the profiles, enable this profile option just as they have mentioned over here. I'll just do a couple of steps in this and I will leave it. Following that document takes a lot of time actually, so that's why I'll just tell you a couple of steps in that and I will share you that document. So now here two topics I am discussing. One is lookups, second one is roles, and third one is configuring profiles. We'll go to setup and maintenance. In setup and maintenance, we'll click on task panel, click on search. Here we will enter manage percent admin percent profile percent. See, This is the this is the link which we need to go into to configure the profile value. Manage administrator profile values. In this one, here in our document, they have given us code, correct? We'll just click enter this code and search for that. So once we search, we'll get the profile related details over here, and what they have mentioned over here, search for profile option and set the value for site profile level to yes. See here in profile level we have site and this value should be set up to yes. We are good till here for profile configuration. So this is how a profile will be edited or modified or configured. So these profiles by default Oracle will provide us and we don't create it. Any questions, guys?
I'm
And tell
sorry,
me,
can you go through again, please? Can you go through this navigation again, please?
okay, and tell me why profiles are used. Anyone? The concept is also available in EBS R12.
To control how application behaves for user or site or responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
So here we have seen only site. What
Yeah,
about
we
the?
only have site.
Oh,
In
okay.
profile configuration, we will only have site.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the navigation. We will go to setup and maintenance and then click on task panel. Click on search. We will search for manage administrator profile values and we will enter the profile option code. Click on search. Here at site level, we will set the profile value. So I'll just click on plus icon. See, there will be only one option site. Just before someone, I think Priyanka or Jarnavi asked this question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we will only have site level in this profile options here in Fusion. Going back to home, going back to roles. Here, I'm clicking on create role. Role name is free text, role code is free text, role category. We will have different types of role categories like common abstract roles, duty roles, job roles. So common. So when we define the common roles is when the role is not just limited to some module like AP, ARGL, but it is common across all the modules. So now here I am picking up the common job roles. Why I am picking common job role? So let's say as a consultant, I got a requirement to work on AI Agent Studio. Here in tools, we have something called AI Agent Studio. So this AI Agent Studio is common across and common to all the users. And any object sits in this is a common object and it is accessible to everyone. And in this AI Agent Studio, there are different modules which can be configured. The modules like related to finance, related to supply chain, related to SCM. In this way, there are multiple modules. So for this, since it has multiple modules, we will be defining a role in common job role set category. And see, if you observe this, here in the top menu, we have a flow chart, correct? Here in this flow chart, the permission groups is disabled, right? Now, if I click on this enable permission groups, this particular option will be enabled. See in the top, this has been enabled. Here in the add function security policy, this defines on whether a user will be able to access a functional screen or not, whether the user will be able to modify the functional screen or not. So this defines the accessibility of functional screen. In this functional screen, security policy screen, we will be adding the privileges. So now let's say I want to give a privilege of view only to view the items related setups and assets related setups. I'll provide the view planning items related privilege to the consultant whom I am providing it. So that depends on what criteria we are getting, and we can, since we are technical consultants, we'll be getting the documentation for configuring this. So everything won't be done by functional consultants. They will already document these setups, standard setups. So these standard setups will be provided to technical consultants and we will be working on this. So this is just one example I'm giving. So once I have picked up that privilege, if you see this, all these are the security policies or privileges which are provided. So a functional security policy will have multiple privileges and each and every privilege will define the accessibility on whether it is view only or edit only accesses for a consultant. In the add permission groups, so let's say in this document only if we see here roles and permission groups. So they will provide each and every menu option. They have given something called as to run an ESS job after setting up this profile, and that is to import the resource application security and user application security data. So here they have given steps on how to submit a ESS job. So in this way, the configuration documents are provided to the functional consultants and technical consultants. Anyone not needed to worry on how if we get a requirement, how we do it. Everything is predefined and it works as per structure only in any organization when it comes to Oracle Fusion, because Fusion is a new product and it is still not stabilized. See here in permission groups, we have some list of options. So as per our requirement and documentation, we will be picking up this list of the menu which are available or provided by Oracle. So in the data security policy. So now, as I have mentioned yesterday, right? So when we create a data security policy, the important thing is data resource. The policy name is a free text. Start and end dates. End date is not really needed to be defined. By default, it will go to 4000 year. We are still in 2000 year. So let's say if I pick a data resource, business unit. Okay. So in this particular data resource, we will have multiple values. See here, manage application tax, review receipt accounting, manage payable invoices. In this way, we will have multiple options. So let's say now we are, when we are creating a role, we are giving an access to a user to manage payable invoice. He needs to work on payables invoices. So now in that scenario, the data security policy which he might require would be payables invoice, reports of payables, and supplier related information access. Correct? So in this way, we will be configuring the data security policies for a user. Any questions in the screen? Everyone are listening, or guys, acknowledgements are highly appreciated. I don't understand whether you are understanding this or not. So if you just acknowledge on any question which I ask, it will help me understand that you guys are understanding and following up. So reiterating the question, any questions on this data security policy screen?
No.
See, when I add the privilege here, this privilege means the privilege related to data access. And here, this privilege means the privilege related to functional security profile. These are two different privileges again. Now here, in the roles and privileges, we can add the default Oracle roles and custom roles which are created by us. So let's say we have to add a role called as application implementation consultant. This is something given by Oracle. So this role, if we give this role to this a particular custom role which we are creating, all the privileges, all the security policies which are assigned to this role by default will flow into this custom role. And next, here, let's say I observed that we have roles and permission groups in this. See here, roles and permission groups. So in this tab, here if you see this roles and permission groups, in this tab, they are asking to configure these particular permissions to provide access to these CX or finance or HCM related data. So as they have asked here, I'm just going to permission groups and I'm clicking add role, and here I'm just copy pasting this particular option. See, once I clicked on search button, everything will be enabled over here. All these permission groups will be enabled here. Just giving access one by one fulfills the requirement. And this roles and permission groups, this particular tab is enabled whenever we click the enable permissions icon, which was available here. And for custom roles or for some of the Oracle new setups, this permission groups is mandatory to be assigned or enabled. Now, segregation of duties. So yesterday I have mentioned about segregation of duties, right? Stating that, let's say, an invoice creator and invoice approver shouldn't be same. So in such kind of scenarios, this segregation of duties will help. So here we do not have it to be configured for this particular custom role because this is a job role. Or maybe this is the vision instance. I'm not really sure why it is not enabled, but we will have a create icon over here, just like we had it for role hierarchy. See, as add role, in permission groups, as we had add role, here for segregation duties also, we will have a button or icon called add. Next, in the users, so for which all users we need to provide this role, we will be just adding the add user and we will give the names. Add user to the role. Next. This is the summary screen on what all functional security policies you added and what all data security policies you added and what all roles and permission groups have been added to the particular role. Save and close. Now, once this role is
Excuse
created,
me,
what is
sir.
the next step to
Excuse
be
me.
done?
Here, in the permission groups, what all the permission groups we need to add? Here for this managing data set we have selected for the finance thing, right?
Wait, let me go into the role. Okay. Which screen were you asking me?
Permission groups. Uh,
Just 1 minute. This one?
yes, yes, this one. Rules and permission groups, yes. So here, based on our requirement, we have to select the role name.
So it's not about the requirement. We can't by default we won't be able to select any roles. Okay. So we will be mandatorily be provided with the documentation like this. So this is one of the document. So how I was able to access this particular document is recently I had a requirement where I only had to configure this whole setup to the users in my organization. So that is how I got this document to showcase.
So here we have so many permission groups, right? To add this duty
Yes,
rules, so
we
many.
have to give all this.
But there we have
We
given
have to give
only
all these
the
permission groups.
only for example.
That is example, right?
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, only for example, I have just added three.
Okay.
Okay. After creation of a role and assigning it to a user, what is the next step we need to do? Anyone? I told this so many times
Creates
actually.
LDAP changes.
Yeah. So this is actually an interview question. So that is why I am re-asking multiple times. So for any 4 5 years experienced professional who has worked on user and role creations, this question will be triggered mandatorily. See, here you can see the test role create. So why we are able to see this? When we were creating a role in the users menu, I have given the rpathakota username. So that is how it is being reflected over here. Once this role is created and assigned to a user, we'll go to setup and maintenance and run the run user and role synchronization process. This will trigger the retrieve latest LDAP changes. And how we can see that program which we have triggered? Anyone?
Go to the scheduled process.
Okay. What is the navigation to go to schedule process?
Uh, navigate to tools and scheduled process.
Yeah, good. So here in the schedule process, this will be triggered, and once this completes, user will be able to access all the screens or all the data for which we have provided the access to in the role creation. Yeah, this is about role creation, and moving on to lookup creation.